All right, let's turn our attention now to the special discussion and debate that we're having out here. There seems to be a bit of a standoff between senior Indian players and the BCCI on whether all of them should be going to the West Indies or not. And we've seen a similar standoff taking place between other boards and their own players. And the central issue seems to be too much cricket. That's what top players are complaining about. There's too much cricket, so they want to skip the tour. Now, of course, the flip side of that is that people are pointing out that everyone's perfectly happy to play 1.5 months of the IPL, so they were really too exhausted. Shouldn't they be skipping that? So that's really what we're going to be talking about, IPL versus the country. Which way should all of this stack up? And joining us now, a very special panel. Rajiv Shukla joining us, Vice President of the BCCI, Sunil Gavaskar with us, as well as is Dean Jones right here in the studio. We also are going to be going across to Kishore Bhimani in just a couple of minutes. And Harun Logat, the CEO of ICC, is going to be joining us, as are representatives of the Sri Lankan board as well. Rajiv, let me just start off by asking you from the point of view of the BCCI. Look, these cricketers have just won the World Cup. So we have to give them a certain amount of credit for that, no doubt. They are saying they're now a bit tired. Do you think it's something which the BCCI is likely to be lenient about, given the circumstances?
Well, I mean, first of all, we don't know which players will be selected for West Indian tours. It's purely up to the selectors to pick up the squad. So you don't know who will be going there, who will not be going there. So preempting anything would not be appropriate.
But let's assume, Rajiv, I can interrupt you. Let's assume the big names that we are talking about. I mean, look, if a selector suddenly decides he's not selecting Sachin Tendulkar or Mahendra Singh Dhoni or Sehwag or Bhaji for that matter in the team, I think all of us would be rather astounded. So let's assume that they're there to be selected.
Well, it's a hypothetical thing. But I can tell you, it's purely up to the selectors to pick up the squad. Right now, I can't say who will be going, will not be going. Secondly, we don't force any player to play or to go on any tour. If he's feeling fatigued, if he's tired, if he's injured, he should tell the board, he should tell the selectors. He'll be given appropriate, adequate rest. And after that, he can come back. So we are not forcing anyone to play. We are not, and at the same time, we are not forcing anyone to play for IPL also.
All right. Sunil Gavaskar, is that fair enough, or do you think there's an issue that why should players be playing for the IPL, playing for club, and as a result of that, giving up a chance to play for the country? Is that an issue that we need to really confront, or, they make a lot of money in the IPL and that's fair enough, they're professionals?
Well, I think the whole thing can be resolved if there is a proper window given to the IPL, which will mean that the decision is not in the players' hands at all. That if the administrators all over the world come together and decide that this is a tournament which has attracted international players, players from all over the world, and we create a window for it, or at least create a window for 90% of the IPL, then I think the whole problem will be solved.
Okay. Mr. Gavaskar, let me just throw that question to the man who perhaps is the right person to answer that. Harun Logat now joining us on the line from Dubai. Mr. Logat, the IPL is now, it sits squarely in the middle of what is a really extended cricket season. The simple question is, why doesn't the ICC sit with the BCCI and figure out a way of putting the IPL itself into the future tour schedule? As a result, everyone knows this is the IPL time. They will not schedule tours or other programs that will clash with it. It will make players happy all around the world.
Yeah, I think it's a bit more complex than might meet the eye, and I think all of us would appreciate that the IPL is something that needs to be looked at quite clearly. But because the international tours program does not cater for domestic fixtures, that's the root of the issue. If we were, and in the first instance, I must also let you know, which I think you're well aware of, the BCCI does not require or has not requested a window for the IPL, and quite rightly so, because they are also, like the rest of us, of the view that international cricket takes precedence. What we do not want to engage in is creating a window for a domestic league for one member, and then you're faced with a scenario where other members may require the same. How do you then cater in a calendar that's got 365 days for all of the seasons across the world, plus international fixtures? And therein lies the root of the challenge. The bottom line being, it's a domestic event, it's franchise-driven, it's of course extremely attractive, where many players want to play, but most of the member countries are well aware of the precedence of international fixtures, and therefore they take precedence.
NDTV's cricket app, Android and iPhone, fastest scorecard, special analysis, and much more. Download free. ndtv.com/apps.